Hello everyone, you have come to Tata Comic Preview channel. Let read together. Have fun. This is an art collage novel video. I made this series so you guys can experience the story faster. The video will focus on the character's psychology, the images are for illustration purposes only. Time passed by in just a blink of an eye. Before long, another month had passed. Inside the hidden chamber in the evil sky pavilion, Zhou felt that he was once again in a state where there was no distinction between the world and himself. Spots of starlight seemed to dance around him. At this moment, the system gave a notification. Ding! System permission upgrade is successful. The 3 scrolls of heavenly writing, the human scrolls level has been raised. System effective area improved, but it will consume heaven writing's extraordinary power. Increased item card variety with price hikes. The series of system notifications rang in Zhou's ears. However, he did not seem to have heard them. He remained immersed in his meditation state. The runes of the Earth Scroll kept dancing around. The extraordinary power of the human and Earth Scrolls gradually merged into one. Meanwhile, Lu Ge, Su Shang, and Yuan'er once again appeared at the foot of Golden Court Mountain. Your Majesty, the promised time with old villain Ji is here. What should we do if he refuses to meet us? Su Shang asked. Lu Ge glanced at Su Shang and said, General Su, be mindful of your form of address. When Su Shang heard this, he hastily said, I've made a mistake. Yuan'er said, You're worrying too much, Brother Su. Although Senior Ji is of the fiend path, from what I know, he's a man of his word. I hope so, Su Shang said. If this had been in the past, Lu Ge might have given his opinion on Ji Tiandao. Since they knew each other, he was confident he knew Ji Tiandao somewhat. However, since their last meeting, he suddenly felt the master of the evil sky pavilion was not as easy to deal with as he had previously thought. Lu Ge walked up to the barrier. Su Shang understood. He cupped his hands around his mouth and projected his voice. The Imperial City's garrison general of the Northwestern Gate, Su Shang, requests an audience with Senior Ji. His voice was filled with rich primal qi, but it was not destructive. The sound wave traveled across Golden Court Mountain before it gradually faded in the mountains. Soon after, a figure flew down from Golden Court Mountain. It was none other than Mingxian. Mingxian hovered in the air and said, I'm sorry. I was just thinking about asking you to come another day. Lu Ge, Su Shang, and Yuan'er were taken aback. This was the promised time. How could their appointment be cancelled without prior notice? Mr. Fourth, old Senior Ji has agreed to this arrangement. How can it be changed at will? Su Shang said. Since Su Shang and Lu Ge had learned about the box's purpose, they were more assertive and bold compared to their previous visit. Moreover, Su Shang was slightly resentful of the palm strike from Zhou. Mingxian crossed his arms and said with a smile, I'm the one who changed the appointment date. You? My master is old. He can't estimate the duration of his secluded cultivation accurately. I hope you understand, Your Majesty, Mingxian said. A frown appeared on Su Shang's face immediately. How can the arrangement be called off when it has been promised? What does my master have to do with me not letting you in? Mingxian pointed at the barrier. Are you going to force your way through? His expression made it clear that he would not comply with their request. Su Shang grew annoyed. Su Shang was about to step forward and argue when Lu Ge raised his hand and interjected, Fine. I'll come back tomorrow. Early the next morning, Lu Ge, Su Shang, Yuan'er, and another imperial bodyguard rode their flying chariot to the foot of Golden Court Mountain again. Like the day before, Su Shang projected his voice toward the evil sky pavilion. Mingxian came flying down from one corner of the evil sky pavilion. As he hovered in the air, he said, I'm sorry. Why don't you come another day? This time, he was being honest. Mr. Fourth, we've made an arrangement with you to meet today. I don't think it's good to go back on your words, Su Shang said. Mingxian spread his arms. I never said that I'm trustworthy. Su Sheng had never met someone as shameless as Ming Shirin before. Although he was one of the 8 great generals who fought on the battlefield for many years, he felt powerless. At this moment, Lu Ge said with his hands on his back, "When do you suggest we come back then?" Ming Shirin stroked his chin and gave it some thought. "How about a year later?" When Ming Shirin saw the frown on Lu Ji's face, he chuckled and said, "I'm kidding. Come again tomorrow." As the saying went, 3rd time's the charm. Lu Ge would not allow Ming Shirin to talk his way out of this tomorrow. "What should we do if the same thing happens tomorrow?" "Now, you're a reasonable man unlike him. We'll leave tomorrow's worries for tomorrow. No one can predict the future." "What a cunning villain." Lu Ge said, "In that case, please tell Brother Ji that I'll visit again tomorrow." During the first 2 times, Lu Ge had easily given in to Ming Shirin. Now that he had finally spoken out, it was clear he was determined to go up the mountain on his 3rd try. Ming Shirin said, "Safe journeys, Your Majesty. I'll make sure to convey your message to my master." Lu Ge and the others turned around and left. Ming Shirin sighed and swiftly returned to the Evil Sky Pavilion. After returning to the pavilion, Ming Shirin walked toward the hidden chamber and paced like an ant on a hot pan. What should I do? What should I do? He had been waiting for his master to emerge from the hidden chamber over the past few days. However, he could not detect any movement inside at all. Ming Shirin called out softly again at the door of the hidden chamber and received no reply. Then, he mumbled to himself, "Looks like I can only count on myself." He turned around and left. Currently, the Evil Sky Pavilions for elders were only at the 4-leaf stage, at most, after their recultivating. Duanmu Sheng, Zhu Honggong, and Zhao Yu had severed their lotuses and were recultivating as well. With their overall strength, it would be unbelievably difficult to intimidate Lu Ge and the others. Ming Shirin pondered on this for a moment before he finally decided to send a letter for help. In the afternoon, in a certain Nether Sect branch. At this moment, Hua Chongyang hurried into the Great Hall. "Sect Master, our Yu Province's branch received a letter from the Evil Sky Pavilion. The retired Emperor, Lu Ge, Su Sheng, and Guiran are now at the Evil Sky Pavilion. They seem hostile, and the Evil Sky Pavilion is asking its first disciple to take charge." Yu Zhenghai and Si Wuya were stunned. "I have to take charge at the Evil Sky Pavilion?" Yu Zhenghai was perplexed. Mr. Forth didn't explain much in his letter, but reading between the lines, this seems like a complicated situation. Hua Chongyang passed his letter to Yu Zhenghai. Instead, Si Wuya took the letter and read it. Then, he said, "With Master's 9-leaf cultivation base, it shouldn't be a problem for him to deal with Lu Ge. Even without Master, we still have the 4 elders. What's happening?" Yu Zhenghai said, "Wise brother, could this be a trap? Do you think Master intends to go back on his word and lure me there?" Upon hearing this, Si Wuya shook his head. "That's unlikely. If he wanted to catch you, he would have done so the last time he was here. Why would he wait until now? Lu Ge, that old thief. To think he's still alive. Did he attain the 9-leaf stage as well?" Yu Zhenghai's breathing quickened. This was an outcome that he wanted to see the least. Throughout these 5 months, the Nether Sect had been trying hard to conquer the 9 provinces. Now that they had conquered Yi Province, all that was left was Yen Province and the Divine Capital. There was less than a month from the promised time with his master. The cultivation world was now in the Lotus Severing era. The 5-leaf elite he had seen 5 months ago had shocked him. If someone attained the 9-leaf stage in such a short time after severing his or her lotus, it would truly be a huge obstacle to the Nether Sect. Lu Ge and Master are old friends. They were acquainted when Master was at his peak many years ago. Lu Ge had invited Master to be the teacher of the state in the Divine Capital then. Master would have been the Lord of many, and the servant of one. However, Master has never liked to be restricted. Hence, Master founded the Evil Sky Pavilion on Golden Court Mountain and recruited disciples, Si Wuya said. "According to my calculations, Lu Ji's great limit should have been up. It's not impossible for him to be at the 9-leaf stage now." Si Wuya continued, from what I know, among the 4 elders, Lang Luo and Pan Litian are injured, and Hua Wudao is a 7-leaf cultivator. The new elder, Senior Zui, is a noteworthy character, but she's from the Confucian school. Su Shang and Guiran are from the Confucian school as well. Zhenghai frowned. Si Wuya said, eldest senior brother. I suggest that we help the evil sky pavilion. Naturally, it's just a suggestion. The decision is entirely up to you. Zhenghai remained silent. Si Wuya felt torn as well when he made the suggestion. He knew how much Zhenghai longed to conquer the world. After all, his suggestion was essentially like asking Zhenghai to dismiss the advantageous situation they were in to help the evil sky pavilion. It would be well if everything went smoothly, but if any problem were to occur, the Nether Sect's efforts thus far would be wasted. If that were to happen, how would he face the members of the Nether Sect? He decided to remain silent when he saw Zhenghai was lost in his thoughts. Before he retreated from the Great Hall, he said, eldest senior brother, I'll take my leave. The others understood Si Wuya's intent and took their leave as well. The Great Hall that dimly lit was now silent. Zhenghai turned around with his hands on his back to face the wall. Nobody knew what he was thinking. He stroked the jasper saber softly as he stared at it, still lost in his thoughts. The next day, the sun rose in the east as it always did. Mingxian made his way to the hidden chamber first thing in the morning to greet his master. As expected, he did not receive any reply from his master. He sighed as he made his way down the mountain again. Soon after, Mingxian saw a flying chariot sailing toward the mountain as promised and landed at the foot of Golden Court Mountain. Su Shang had a keen eye. As soon as the flying chariot landed, he saw Mingxian hovering in the air, waiting for them. He rose into the air and waved at Mingxian who was standing behind the barrier. Mr. Fourth, we meet again. Hello there, Mingxian said with a smile. I'm sure Senior Ji has come out from his cultivation in seclusion. Please lead the way, Mr. Fourth. Su Shang smiled. Mingxian said, I'm terribly sorry, but, can you come again tomorrow? Just treat me as an untrustworthy and petty man, Mingxian said. Despite his words, he was slightly annoyed. Why must he submit to these guests who pestered him to meet his master when his master did not want to see anyone? It had nothing to do with his promise. Su Shang smiled and said, I don't think there's a need for us to leave. The evil sky pavilion is huge. We can just wait on the mountain until Senior Ji emerges from his cultivation in seclusion. Mingxian chuckled and said, if you're smart, General Su, you'd do well to listen to my advice so you won't regret it later. I'm afraid that's not up to you to decide, Su Shang replied. As he spoke, densely packed talisman seals appeared around him. The talisman seals hovered in the air and shone with golden radiance as they floated toward the barrier. He was clearly trying to break the barrier. The Confucian school was known for its formations and expansive heavenly energy. At this moment, from the midpoint of the mountain, numerous talisman seals descended. Each seal was larger than the one before it. Su Shang frowned slightly and shouted, is this how the evil sky pavilion treats its guests? He pushed his palms forward, and a round Confucian heavenly energy shield materialized in front of him. Bam! 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 The descending script seals that came from the midpoint of the mountain were blocked by the heavenly energy. Shortly after, a gruff voice rang from where the script seals shot out. I'd like to see who's bold enough to force their way into the evil sky pavilion. When Su Shang heard this, he bowed. Greetings, Senior Zhou. I didn't mean to force my way into Golden Court Mountain. His Majesty has an arranged meeting with Senior Ji. We're merely here to uphold our end of the agreement. I'm making the decision on the pavilion master's behalf. The arrangement is now called off. Get lost from Golden Court Mountain, all of you, Zhou said harshly. Mingxian was slightly shocked. He did not expect Elder Zhou to be so domineering. I like it. At this moment, Lu Gu projected his voice and said, Zhou, are you going to stop me from going up the mountain? Lu Gu. This is the evil sky pavilion, not the palace. Don't think you can intimidate me. Zhou rose into the air and swung her staff. A row of talisman seals spun around her. All the seals were of the word human. Su Sheng frowned slightly. Heavenly energy, single script seal. The character for human was sometimes replaced with I mercy, which was the core seal cultivated by the Confucian school. Throughout the years, only a handful had been capable of cultivating this script seal to great heights. Zhou was one of them. This was the most powerful script seal in the expansive heavenly energies arsenal. I see that you're not completely blind. Zhou looked down at him in the skies. Su Sheng said, when the Confucian school was expanding many years ago, you were supposed to be our saint, Elder Zhou. Alas, that position is only reserved for men, not women. Even so, the Confucian disciples were still respectful of you. Why did you join the fiend path, Elder Zhou? Do I have to explain myself to you? Zhou retorted. Su Sheng was rendered speechless. Yuan'er said, why must you be so overbearing, Elder Zhou? You can't replace Senior G. After he finished speaking, he pushed his hand out and launched a palm seal. A slight frown appeared on Zhu's face as she waved her staff. Golden light burst out from the staff immediately. The human script seals formed a line that collided with the palm seal. Bam! 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 After a while, the energy from the collision finally subsided. Elder Zhou, kindly enlighten me. Yuan'er stomped his feet and shot into the skies until he drew level with Zhou. Mingxian was taken aback. He did not expect the taciturn Yuan'er to step forward and fight first. This was bad. Although Zhou had severed her lotus and was recultivating, she would not tolerate such behavior. Her staff spun in the air as she released script seals and talisman seals. The talismans swirled around her and formed a long chain. Without another word, Yuan'er summoned his avatar. Whiz! A 100-foot 8-leaf avatar shone with golden light, bringing with it a stifling atmosphere. Boom! The script seals and talisman seals faded away. Zhou did not expect Yuan'er to suddenly strike with all his might and was pushed back by the powerful energy. Yuan'er said, Elder Zhou, it's just as I thought, you're not at the 8-leaf stage. While Zhou reeled back, she suddenly swung her staff. A fine golden line appeared on her staff and formed the pattern of a winding dragon from the handle to the other end of the staff. Then, a mystical talisman seal shot out. Bam! Yuan'er retreated with his avatar. A shocked expression could be seen on his face as he cried out, the coiling dragon staff. No wonder. The coiling dragon staff is in your hands all along, Elder Zhou. At this moment, the spinning coiling dragon staff shot back into Zhu's hand. She held it next to her as she hovered in the air. With a meaningful look in her eyes, she said, you need my permission if you want to climb up the mountain. Suddenly, Su Sheng tapped the tips of his toes and flew into the air with movements as nimble as a swallow. Then, he stood shoulder to shoulder with Yuan'er. The two great generals, both at the 8-leaf stage, looked at Zhou from a distance. Elder Zhou, why must you do this? Su Sheng placed his hands on his back. He stepped forward, radiant circles appeared with every step he took. The talisman seals on his body formed unique formation veins. When the formation veins came into contact with the barrier, a door appeared in the barrier. Then, Su Sheng easily stepped into the barrier. Mingxian was shocked. He's a master of formations. Those who were masters in formations were like people with master keys. Not everyone could become a master in formations. This reminded him of Pan Litian and his second senior brother. At their level, the existence of a barrier did not make much of a difference. Zhou expected as much. She waved her coiling dragon staff again. A dragon-shaped expansive heavenly energy shot out. Su Sheng waved his huge hand. His palm shone with a golden energy seal as he clenched his fist. Bam! He caught the coiling dragon energy seal. This level is at the 4-leaf stage, at most. Elder Zhou, you should know what the 8-leaf stage means. Su Sheng clenched his hand. The coiling dragon energy seal dissolved. Upon seeing this, Zhou Yushu's frown deepened.